We'll be live in like 2 seconds. And I think we already have Mary on the live. Uh,
Hello.
hello. And I think I'm going to have to remove that. We're having some fun with Instagram as always. Okay, so, well, welcome. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We are just getting started. We just literally went live like 40 seconds ago. And I just wanted to say happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us today, regardless of whichever platform you're joining us on. Welcome. So today we have a very special guest, and in this month of hair loss awareness, we are kind of doing something a little bit different. We're chatting with other ladies that have gone down that same path of hair loss and talk a little bit about actually getting them to tell their story about how they navigated it and about how they manage it, to help you manage it as well. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce our guest. So, do you want to go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Barbara, but everybody calls me B. It's just easier. And I live in Southampton in the United Kingdom. I'm a mum of four, grandmother of three, and have been on my sort of personal hair loss journey and wig journey for the last 2 years now. And yeah, it's kind of like it's such a big part of my identity now that it's lovely to be able to come here and talk about it because I know that there are so many other women who are in exactly the same boat I was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Mhm.
so, can you remember, Barbara, when you first um, realized that something wasn't quite right with your hair?
Yeah, for me, the it happened very quickly because I've always been aware that I had thin hair, and I worked in a hairdressing salon for 15 years, so hair was a big part of my identity, and I knew how to work with my sort of not brilliant hair, and was always very envious of other girls who had fabulous hair, but I always tried to make the best of what I had. But then at the end of 2024, I had an illness. I had a heart attack. And following that, the recovery, the stress of the whole event, and the medication that I had to take to manage this kind of newly diagnosed heart condition, just took a terrible toll on my hair. And what I had just decided to leave. My hair was just breaking off. I didn't go bald overnight or anything like that. Just my hair became so much thinner within the period of, say, 6 weeks and would no longer grow. It would grow to a certain extent and then just snap off. So I was so aware of it happening because I've been around hair for such a long time that I knew that this was not specifically normal, but I knew that I knew that it was quite devastating to me, that's for sure, but it seemed to happen very quickly.
Yeah. So, I think a lot of us can relate to that, right? Like I went through the same thing. Mine was stress and then illness related. So it seemed like it was
Mhm.
like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Yes.
Was
Yeah.
and it's interesting because I hear other women say the same thing. They're like, oh, it was related to stress or whatever, whether it was a medical stress or an emotional stress. It
Mhm.
just like the stress on the body or the mind really takes a toll on your hair.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it becomes a bit of a vicious cycle as well because you start to worry about something else when you've got a health condition and then you're getting other things piled on top of it. The stress multiplies when you're trying to manage stress. And when people say, especially medical professionals say, well, it's stress related, manage your stress. Well, that is very much easier said than done,
Right.
and almost impossible when you're in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to welcome a couple people to the live. So we've got Beverly McGregor, who is over on your side of the pond, uh,
Hi.
and actually did our intro for us.
Yes, you
Um,
did. Hi, Beverly. Hi.
and then we also have Kim Mimo on the live with us as well. Welcome, Kim. We're going to hear about Kim's story as well. So
Mhm.
in a couple of weeks, but it's interesting how really like how that whole I love how doctors will say, "We'll control your stress." And you're like,
Yeah.
how
How?
exactly do I do that?
Yeah.
So I got started on this journey when I ended up like under a lot of emotional stress. I actually was being bullied in the workplace, and
Oh gosh.
really, I mean, it was just beyond stressful. Um, and it's one of those things where you're like, well, how do you manage that? Like, it's impossible to manage. You
It
either leave
is.
the job
It
or,
is.
and so it's like, but what do you do in the meantime? And I mean, it just made it worse. Like the more hair I lost, the more stress I was under, and then I would lose more hair, and then it was like a
Yeah.
vicious cycle. Like no matter what you could do or
Yeah.
could do, it just it was one of those things that was like really hard to manage, and so just did a number on my self-confidence. Do you feel like it did the same for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. It's a challenge anyway when you're dealing with a health issue, but I kind of went down that slippery slope where I didn't really want to be going outside because I was so ashamed of how I was looking as well as how I was feeling. And when I was starting to feel better and manage the health part of things, then I just kind of didn't want to go anywhere. And I started to think, well, this is it. This is my life now. My
Mm,
life is going to be kind of over in that no social life. No, I just didn't want to see anybody.
yeah.
And that again, that adds to the vicious cycle of your stress levels and your mental health issues and things like that. Because when you lose confidence in yourself as a person, then you do it was I came to a crossroads, if you like, and had to make a decision about whether I was going to go down there. Well, I'm just an old lady with no hair now, and or I was going to do something about it and get my life back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that journey and how you started down that path of kind of getting your life back, and what went through your mind, and how did you kind of go about searching out hair replacement?
Well, I had started to, things were popping up on my social media feeds, particularly TikTok, which was where I used to spend my time scrolling and passing the hours. And had seen a lot of information about wigs and was always sort of a little bit in disbelief that it could be as simple as it looked to the women who were showing me this lovely hair on the screen. I thought it can't be that easy, but I
Mhm.
was really intrigued, but a little bit scared to take the leap. But I've got four sons, as I said, and my youngest son was organizing. He had just been through a bit of a terrible time within his relationship and had decided that he was going to throw this big party for his own birthday party, which was on the 9th of March. And this was about the January when I was at my lowest, and I just wasn't going anywhere. And so he wanted me to obviously be there at his birthday party. And I was thinking inside, I can't go. I just don't know how I can go and turn up looking the way I do. So that gave me something to aim for. And that was my kind of crossroads where I thought, well, if I'm not going to be involved with my family anymore, what have I got left?
Mm,
So I made the decision that I was going to do something about my hair before his birthday party. So I bought my first wig about the end of January, and it came a week later. And I sat and looked at it for a couple of weeks. I thought, I don't know if I can do this. So, and I played with it and sort of tried to get used to it. And I was still in two minds as to whether I was going to go to this party. I'd bought an outfit and everything, but it meant so much to him that at the end of the day, I was going to go or I was going to let my son down. So I wore the wig and I went, and oh my goodness, it was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. But I've
I,
still got butterflies in my stomach thinking about it, especially
yeah,
the first time meeting so many people that I've known for years, obviously, and people would come and hug you, and I thought, oh my God, she's going to pull my wig off, and thought I just didn't know how I was going to respond if anybody said anything.
yeah,
And yeah, it was terrifying, but it was definitely that was my crossroads moment when I realized that I can do this. And in the end, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed having hair again. It was brilliant.
yeah,
So yeah, it was a baptism of fire, but it worked.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think
Hmm.
for my sort of my first outing was I ended up because I would pull be previously to this, I would pull my hair back so that it looked like I was didn't have hair loss. You use the fibers, you do all the tricks, right, to make
Hmm.
it like you
Yeah.
still have hair.
Yeah.
Um, so I had done all of that, and then I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Like, am I going to? But I can't. That was on camera, right? What am I gonna do when I actually have to show up in person? What am I gonna have to do?
Yeah.
I have to leave the house and I see somebody that I know. What am I
Yeah.
gonna? But yeah, the whole avoidance thing. I didn't want to see anybody that I knew. I didn't want to do any of that because I was so fearful
Yeah.
about you know seeing someone, or them noticing that maybe my hair looked a little different or
Mm.
on my hair by accident. Same thing. And
Yeah.
I hear that so much from ladies. They're like, well, can you tell it's a wig? And I'm like, there are wigs are not the same wigs that our grandparents had
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
They're just not. Um, So Beverly said the worst comment that you can get about hair loss is when someone says it doesn't look that bad.
Oh, I know, I know. Well, yeah, great. Swap. Would you like to swap then? It's always somebody with lovely hair that says that. And I'm like, okay, fine, you can have it then.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And that's so true. Like I had so many friends that knew me, they were like, oh, it doesn't look that bad. My husband was like, oh, you look fine, honey. And I'm thinking, you're so sweet. Because I know it came from a place of compassion,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
at the end of the day, when you can see through the front of my hair,
Oh, I know, I know. I've had one of those, I had a photograph taken when the sun was behind me.
yes.
And oh, like that. And at that point, I thought, well, nobody's ever taking a photograph of me again because I just looked completely bald. And that's just a shock to me. Other people say, oh, it's okay, it's fine. But when I see that, I was just like, it's just because it was just not me. That's not what I want to see for me. I I also like I don't really care what other people think of what I look like, but I do care what I think what I look like
Yeah.
because I want to show up the best I can, really.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. It's when you see yourself in a certain light, it's a shock.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it probably doesn't shock other people because they're not you.
Yeah.
And your
Absolutely.
loved ones will love you no matter what
Oh,
anyway.
of
So, and that's lovely, but that's not really what's at the heart of it. It's how you feel about yourself.
yeah. And it's so funny. I during this whole thing, I had started this weight loss journey, and I don't think I had realized how much weight I had lost because I was avoiding mirrors. I literally would not look at my hair in the mirror.
Yeah. Hmm.
Then the first time I looked at myself, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've lost weight."
Yay!
So
Yes.
not only did I lose my hair, but I also lost some weight. But it was like, oh,
Yeah. I was actually having this conversation with my sister yesterday. My sister lives in Scotland, so I don't see her very often. And we were at a family wedding yesterday, and and she's lost a lot of weight. And and yeah, she said to me, "Oh, I need to talk to you about hair because I'm starting to, my hair's getting thinner as well." And I was like, yeah, but would you rather be fat or bald? You know, which one are you going to choose? Do you want the weight back or do you want the hair back?" And she's like, "Yeah,
Right.
I'll keep the weight off. Thank you very
Yeah.
much."
Yeah. Well, and I think, to that is, I see a lot of women that, um like, our demographic is primarily like 55 to 64. Um
Hmm.
and that tells me a lot about hair loss, menopause, our generation that's going through this.
Yeah,
And so, I think we used to just live in a society that as you became older, your hair starting to thin was no big thing. Women just expected it. But
yes, yeah,
because we are living longer, because we have this expectation to look good as women, we're in the workplace longer, all of these things, we have all these expectations, not
mm,
only just from society, but on ourselves as well.
yeah. And there's also so much available to us now that, when I think about my own grandmother, for instance, when she was my age, she was a little old lady in what we call here in the UK, she had a blue rinse. She would go and have her hair sort of tinted with a slight blue or purple tinge because that's what all the little old ladies did. They had a curly perm and to try and make the most of their thin hair.
Yeah,
And that was really the only option you had.
yeah,
You were either, you either went grey or you had a purple rinse, and that was ladies from 50 onwards. I think probably knew my grandmother when she was 50 until later on, obviously, but she always looked exactly the same because there were no other options.
yeah.
So now, and if somebody had bought a wig back then, well, there'd be names called, there'd be sniggering behind their back and that kind of thing. So that's the stigma that we've brought into our generation because we remember the way
Hmm.
things used to be when we
Yeah,
didn't have the options that we've got now.
yeah,
And I wish other women, so many more women, knew what the options were because it's not all or nothing anymore.
right.
There's so many choices.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely
Mhm.
agree. So, tell us about, a little bit more about yourself, because I don't think all the ladies really know you, um, and some of the videos and things that you do
Mhm.
on TikTok and social media. So, tell us a little bit about how you got started in that.
Okay, well that came purely from finding confidence in wigs. I'd never ever thought that I would put myself out there like that. But I had it was a life-changing event had happened and also changed how I sort of my day-to-day life. I had a bit more time on my hands because I wasn't working like I used to. And I'd done a lot of research. I got completely kind of consumed with wigs. Once I bought my first one, I had to have another one, and I had to then try out all these styles that I'd wanted for years and I never ever thought was accessible to me. So I was watching other women talk about their wig experiences every single day. So I thought, "Oh, I wonder if I could do something like that." So I I don't know, I made my first video. I can't even remember what it was about now. And when you look back, it's absolutely cringeworthy, but it was something new to me and it actually gave me such a lot of focus in that year in 2025 when it could have been a very, very hard year, and that my hair journey turned it around completely for me. And I started just enjoying expressing myself and trying something new that I absolutely loved. So now I'm a little bit, as you can see, a little bit addicted, a little bit addicted, just
I
a little.
talk about your
Yeah.
or
But
those.
the
How many
confidence
views?
the confidence I have gained is unbelievable. And I used to be when I that first couple of months when I would go out wearing a wig, I had I just imagined huge arrows pointing at me and that everybody was talking about me behind my back and things like that. And but then when I started to go and meet friends and sit up close and personal with them and talk about it, and I was like, "Do you know, this is something that so many other women are haven't yet found. It's not that there's anything special in me, it's just I found it through necessity.
Yeah.
And other women are so curious, and I love that. I used to dread somebody asking me a question because I didn't know whether I was going to lie or how much of a lie I would tell or whatever. And now it's like, please bring it on. I want to answer all the questions.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you think um in terms of like what do you think most people the biggest misunderstanding um that you had about your hair loss journey? Like do you think people think, oh, well, she's just exaggerating, or it's not that bad? Like what do you
Mm.
think?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for um I know that I left mine a lot longer than I should have done really before I did something about it, even though it was a short space of time. I kind of there's the if you start to see your hair thinning, there's a hope initially that it's temporary. And what can I do to reverse this? And there is so much snake oil out there for hair loss.
Yeah.
And the money that I spent over the years, and I saw other women who would come into the hair salon, and with full disclosure, we probably sold lots of things that were absolute rubbish. But everybody wants to believe that the next thing is going to be the thing that's going to turn your hair loss around. So I think for a lot of women, they hope it's temporary.
Yeah.
So assume that we can find something that will fix it,
Yeah.
and then waste a lot of time and money doing that. There is also that thing, like you said right in the beginning, of other people's opinions about it, saying, "But it's not that bad," and then you start to think, "Well, is it not that? Am I just being vain?"
Mhm.
And somebody actually, a good friend of mine, said it to me, and she said it with the nicest intention, but she said when I saw her and I was wearing a wig and she didn't notice. Now she'd been a hairdresser for years, and she just said, "Oh my God, your hair's brilliant." And I said, and I sort of lifted up the front and said, "It's a wig." She went, "Oh my God." She said, "I knew that you would be vain enough to get a good one." Like, oh, okay. I said, I think I know that's a backhanded compliment, but I
I
knew
love
what she meant.
it.
And I don't think it is vanity. It's, I don't know what the word is really. It's just a bit of self-care.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not because I want other people to look at me, which I think is what vanity is, isn't it? It's just that, yeah, you can present yourself in a one way or you can present yourself in another way. And a good wig allows you to do it in the best way, I
Yeah.
believe.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting because um, for me, I felt like people were starting to look at my hair or the lack thereof. And I was like, I don't, I was in training and development and leadership training and things like that in an environment where I wanted them to look at me and understand me so that I could help and support them. And that I felt like I couldn't do successfully if they were looking at my lack of hair.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, you know how you look at someone and you're kind of distracted by something, and you're like, no, I want them to be able to focus on what I'm saying. And I
Yeah.
just, that was not going to happen if I didn't take care of the matter. And I want to go back to something that you said, where you said like all the snake oil out there. So my father-in-law is actually a doctor, and he said, if we had a solution for hair loss, you'd see all of these doctors that are bald walking around with hair.
Yeah.
Because
Very true.
he says some of them are the most vain people
Yeah.
imaginable, and they would all be walking around with hair. So,
Yeah.
so it's like,
Definitely.
I hear that. I hear that all the time. It's like, oh, well, did you try this? Did you try that? So, well,
Mm.
some of it can help a little bit. I just don't see a lot of like where it's growing back and
Yeah.
goes back completely, right? I just don't see.
Hmm. I've never heard of that happening, to be honest. And look, all the years I spent in the hair salon, never witnessed it happen either. You know, there's definitely tips and techniques that you can use to put volume into hair and things like that. But when the hair is no longer there, and unless it is for, I know that sometimes I'm not an expert at all on alopecia and the different types of alopecia that there are, but sometimes the hair can come and go, and those follicles can regenerate and stuff like that. But I think hormonal or age-related or stress-related hair loss, in my experience, is is not reversible. But
Right.
we all hope that it is.
Yeah.
I've got a cupboard over there which has got, I don't know how many bottles of rosemary oils and different types of shampoos and things that have all these ingredients in which sound amazing.
Yeah.
And now when I hear adverts for them, I just want to, oh, it's not going to work. It's
Yeah.
not going to work.
And they have like the Rogaines and the, all the different,
Yeah,
and I think my doctor finally said, look, you can take this, but you essentially have to take it the rest of your life, because
yeah,
when you stop taking it is that the hair loss actually gets worse. And so it's like, do I want to take this the rest of my life? And so that was definitely a deterrent for me. So
yeah.
yeah.
I think also when you said you were going through illness as well, when after my heart situation, the number of pills I was given to take anyway, I thought, I don't want to be taking anything that I don't have to take.
Right.
And because I've also encountered quite a few times in this last few years of dealing with that situation, so many one pill that counteracts another one, and I wanted to keep things as clean as I possibly could. And when the kind of realization happened that this is the only way, this is the only way that I can do that,
Mhm.
and kind of respect my body as well and not make things any worse somewhere else down the line,
Yeah.
then that was definitely for me a much simpler option, really. And it sounds like the most drastic option. And I also think that like we tend to think as a wig as the final, that's it, you've given up, that's it, that's the final stop on your journey, the
Mhm.
last resort. You're
Mhm.
going to wear a wig. Now I'm like, well, do you want to come and choose one? Because these are not a last resort.
Ah, no, it's so true. And I can remember when I went in, when I finally decided I was going to go to the wig store, I was like, okay, that's it. I've lost all hope. I'm just going to go to the wig store. And
Mm,
I had my friend, and um, like I went to two wig salons, and I don't think either of them were helpful. The first one that I went to, she kept trying to put a topper on me. I'm like, I don't want. I'm like, I already have a topper. I don't think this is helping. Majority of my hair loss is right here in the front,
yeah.
and I don't have any hair to hook on to the,
Mm.
you know, and so she, it was one of those things where I just felt like, listen to me, listen
Mm.
to what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
Help me find a solution based on what's going on with me. And neither of them really did that.
yeah.
And I feel
I
that
mm,
we lose that a lot
yeah,
times.
definitely. I've definitely found the beginning of my experience with wigs was very, very lonely because you don't just meet somebody else who's wearing a wig, hopefully because her wig's good and you don't notice it, but it's not, there's no group that you can just go and join in on.
Yeah.
And where I live, I'd never even heard of a wig shop. I was really starting from zero with my investigations into where to find a wig. There's nothing near me at all. The first time I stepped foot into a wig shop was only 2 months ago when I was over in Australia visiting my friend, and that's actually when I started not visiting, but visiting my son, not my friend. That's when I started speaking to Beverly online. Beverly, hi. When I was over in Australia, but I had been just walking along the street in the little town where my son lives, and I saw a sign that said "Wig it up," and I thought, what is that? And I said to my daughter-in-law, what's that? And she said, I don't know, I've never seen that before. So we turned around a corner and there it was, this little shop full of wigs. I was like, oh, ta-da! It was amazing. And it was actually closed, which was devastating at the time. But I went back the next day and had the best hour and a half of my life just talking about wigs with somebody else who knew what I was going on about. And
Yeah,
she let me try on several wigs, and oh my goodness, it was wonderful. I thought there should be one of these in every high street
right.
because for me there was nowhere that I could just go and actually see and touch and feel a wig apart from the Halloween shop.
Hmm.
That had been my experience of wigs before, and most people.
Yeah,
So to have a place where women can actually talk about it without feeling self-conscious or feeling judged would just be amazing, I think.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I got started with wigs like after I went down a very bumpy journey of like trying to find hair that worked for me. Um, I got started. I got started on starting locks and tops after. So do have a counseling background, and my therapist friends said to me, "Hey, I've got a couple of women that are struggling with hair loss. Would you talk to them?" And we ended up starting a little group. Um,
Oh, lovely.
and it just came about. They were like, "Wow, these wigs are so expensive." I went to the salon. They were like $800. I was like,
Mm.
"Wow, oh my gosh!" And I started looking into it. I was like, "Well, let me see if I can, you know, do a little bit of digging." And before that, I just was. It was just about my personal journey and helping other women, talk
Mm,
find their solution and but yeah, it's like you said, there's really not a lot of places that you can go and
mm,
find a place that you can talk to and find a group. And like that's why we have the Locks and Tops group on Facebook. um and so that women can help support, like I put different pictures and things like that up, but
yeah.
women to come in and talk about their journey and things like that. So
Yeah, I don't know where I would have been without the social media friends that I have made, people who are on the same path and who can relate. Um, it's a bit of a double-edged sword though, especially TikTok, I think, which is obviously where my biggest presence is. But there's a lot of people who just want to take advantage as well, and that kind of really makes me angry these days, you know. It's hard to know where to get your information from. Just like it's hard to know where to go to buy your first wig. And some people kind of set themselves up as experts very, very quickly just to sell wigs. And you, yeah, I see a lot of women being kind of misled, and it's the way of the world nowadays, which is why I'm of the generation who I prefer to talk to people and I prefer to see and touch and feel, and that's not really it's not possible in this instance, but I really wish it was.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. So tell me a little bit that you kind of touched on it, but you
Mhm.
said the women being taken advantage of. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like what do you see out there, Beverly?
I I think that on TikTok there's quite a few it's almost like little cliques of influencers, I suppose they are, but they're just very small. It's a small niche, isn't it? But there are certain people who they just work for a wig company, or their end game is sales rather than advice.
Hmm.
And I've heard them just saying the wrong thing to people. So I tend to try and not go into live rooms as often as I can because I get a little bit frustrated. I'm not an expert either. I only know my journey and my experiences, and um and I know some of these people haven't got the best interests at heart, because I think, like everything in modern world, where there's an opportunity, everything is about money. A lot of things are about money, and when there's an opportunity to make money, I know that the hair loss industry and the wig industry is massive now.
Yeah.
And it could be a lot bigger. We just have to be careful not to be to guide people on the right path, if you see. I'm trying to be very diplomatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard to find the right people, the right tribe, if you like.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I'm just trying to be very picky about where you get your information from. I'm a bit of an analyst. I always have been. I've got a very analytical mind, and if somebody tells me something and tells me it's fact, I will go and check it.
Yes.
So I do like to second guess myself, but I also like to second guess everything else as well. So if somebody tells me something, I'm thinking, are you sure about that? Then I would want to go and check.
Yeah.
So, and I think with something that's going to could make or break your day, you know, if you've been sitting at home waiting for something to turn up that you've been promised is going to be X and Y comes out of the bag, is going to have an effect on you. So, um, I would I would caution everybody to just look twice. It's a bit like a carpenter cutting a piece of wood. You've got to measure it twice and then cut it once. Just do
Right.
your research and find, trust the right people to give you the right advice.
Yeah. I totally agree 100%. I think I called
Mm.
Beverly. I was looking at Beverly's comment.
I can't read it, sorry.
So Barbara was just like, we all have identical journeys. It is just the reason for the start of it that's different. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's so true.
yeah. Hmm.
I love your comment about like trust who you get advice from. Like we have like I've heard from women that said, I had someone on social say I could do this to the hair or told me how to do that or and then they would do it and it just wasn't successful.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
or they'll say, "Oh, this is better than this," or "Oh, you should purchase from so and so." I mean,
mm.
I always say like you, do your research, um, and you have to be careful about what you hear, even from the individual brands, but particularly amongst other people that are making claims because I'll hear things like, "Oh, so and so has the best fibers," or "Oh, so and so has this," and or this wig performed better than this one, and what I really want to say is there are so many variables that will make a wig perform better. It could be based on the type of clothing. Polyester will make your clothes or make your hair frizz more than a cotton fabric. So
Mm.
there's so many things that I think most women don't know. And so they get stuck in this loop of, no, you should do this and not buy this one or but buy this one. And so I always think about like when you hear someone say, do this, you know, and it's kind of pushing you to purchase something. I,
Yeah,
I get really leery. I'm very,
yeah,
very particular. I always have this phrase, if I won't wear it, if I won't use it, I won't sell it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that's just because I don't want someone to have a bad experience. I will always research it and be the guinea pig first.
Hmm.
I don't want someone to go down the bumpy road that I went through.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah, there's so many people now in the sort of influencer sphere, especially, you know, on social media, on TikTok and Instagram, most more specifically, where yeah, the whole ethos is to influence you to buy something, and I just don't. It doesn't fit right sometimes with something so personal as your hair. I think it's great. I love to be shown everything, yeah, but don't make the outlandish claims about what this is going to do for you or the fact that you have to have this. This is that you've got to have this, you've got to have this. And yeah, there's a lot of disappointed women out there because of that sort of being pushed, things being pushed on you that you don't necessarily need. Now, I have got a lot of wigs, and I'll tell you now, I love them all. You know, I see a lot of I'm lucky that I do buy wigs from people who don't like the wigs that they've bought, so which is great. But I do very reluctant to get rid of any of these. You know, they all kind of mean something to me. But but yeah.
so funny. I sometimes I'll get women, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I love that wig. I love that wig. And I think I have sold the wig that I have worn 4 or 5 times with various styles just because it's like, oh, okay, let me get this to you because I love it. I know you're gonna love it. And
Yeah,
and I want them to have something that I know that they're really gonna enjoy. They're like, oh my gosh, I love it. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I had
But it,
a girlfriend came over last week, and she's actually been and had a looked at my wigs twice now, and she is beginning, her hair's thinning, and she's missing what she used to have and everything. And she's tried on a couple of my wigs, and but she took one home last time, and her boyfriend said, no, everybody's going to know that's a wig, don't wear it. So she brought it back.
oh,
I wasn't selling it to her or anything. I just wanted her to wear it. But she came back again last week, and she tried on. I said to her, look, just pick anything you want. I know she's very like me. I knew what she'd like. She picked it this wig, probably the cheapest wig that I have in here.
yeah.
And she looked amazing and she loved it. And she was so bright and light. And she went out with her son that night to go to some event. And she sent me pictures saying, look at this, it's amazing. I said, look, Karen, keep it. So I need to get another one
Oh,
of those now because it was just so lovely to see her enjoying. And I just knew that feeling and I thought, oh, just it's yours now, love.
yeah. No, and I think that that
Yeah.
happens too. Like you'll get. I was like, I always tell women, every wig is not for every person. It,
Mm,
you know, you're gonna find them that, and I think women get really hard on themselves
yeah.
because they think, oh my gosh, this is the first wig I bought and it didn't work. And I always tell them,
Mm,
expectation, look, if you are brand new to wigs, don't expect the first wig that you pick to be perfect because
yeah.
it's not going to be your hair, right? We can get
Yeah.
close to what your bio hair used to look like, but it's never going to be your exact same hair. So it's difficult, and I think you kind of go through a transformation, and after a while, like I always tell women, I'm like, okay, but if you bought that wig, you gravitated towards it for a reason. Put it back in the box, put it in your closet, wait a couple of
Mm,
months, grab another one, right? Something that you do feel more comfortable with. Go back to that other wig, see how you feel about it in a couple of months. And the majority of the time, they say, oh my gosh, I love it. I don't
yeah.
know why I was ever
Yeah.
doubting. But it's
But
that
th
transformation that goes through their mind.
it
Um,
it takes a lot when you see yourself with hair again or with better hair because we're not used to that. I'll
right?
show you. I kept it. This is the first wig that I bought. And she still, I still absolutely love her, but she very like what my hair used to be, but a lot thicker than it used to be.
Yeah,
And I was 100% playing it safe buying the short bob, and nobody was going to look twice and think, wow, she's got strange hair. It's just
yeah,
very, very classic, simple bob.
yeah.
But, and I thought I was like really brave wearing something like this. And oh, the first time I went out with 24 inches of red curls, I thought, who is this woman? Where did she come from?
But that happens too. I think I did the same thing, Barbara. I had like the very no permatease, this lightest density that I could find, a little long bob. It was
Mm,
very simple, very basic. I knew it wouldn't draw attention to me at all. And
yeah,
actually, I got it in a beautiful blonde, and they were like, oh my gosh, you did your color.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, well, it worked. Okay.
yeah. That's the thing about wigs. You can choose the wig to blend in, or you can choose the wig to stand out. It just
Yes.
whatever it is that you feel like. And I think at the beginning we all just want to blend in and have nobody think, oh, she's got her hair's thin, she's lost her hair, or you don't want to draw attention to it at all. You just want to blend in.
Yeah.
And if somebody says to you, "Oh, if you just had your hair done," then brilliant. That's what we want. And
Yeah.
then you gain this crazy confidence from somewhere, and you're like, right, okay, who am I going to be today?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's so much fun. You start to have fun with it, right?
Yeah, Definitely,
You start,
definitely.
you start trying the 24 inches and the waves and
Mhm.
curls and all that
Yeah.
stuff that
I've
you
I- I've
you know,
definitely bought some wigs and thought, oh, I've gone too far, and put it away, and then get it out a couple of months later and think, yeah, I can wear whatever I want really. And also you can change them, if it's not quite right. I hate wasting money. So if I've bought something and it's non-returnable or whatever, I will do everything I can to make it work somehow so I can at least wear it once or twice. But
yeah.
another turning point on my wig journey, if you like, I bought quite a lot of similar wigs from the sort of bigger, sort of big box wig companies, if you like JB Extension and Chelsea Smith Crowns, etc., which are like fashion wigs, which were brilliant. They're great. I've got loads and loads of them. But that time I went into the wig shop in Australia, that was my first experience of a high-end wig that I had never had the opportunity to try on before.
Mhm.
And the first one, I was almost magnetically drawn towards this wig. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is beautiful. And it was Holly by John Renault. And the lady was like, oh yeah, everybody loves Holly. And I'd heard of Holly, but I'd never seen one. And then I picked it up and I was like, oh my goodness, it hardly weighs anything.
Yeah,
And it felt so good. And then she said, well, try it on. And I put it on. I was like, oh my goodness, now I need all of these. I need this in every color possible. And then I started to look at different brands, and where I had been led to believe, oh no, you're just paying for the name. No, there's no point in paying £300 when you can just get this for 50. It's the same. They're not the same. And now I know 100% they're not the same. And yeah, now I'm a little bit different. And now I direct my cash in a very different way nowadays. But just that first experience of that, such a well-made and lightweight wig that didn't feel like anything but hair on my head.
yeah,
I thought, oh my goodness, this is what every woman needs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don Renault, I think, is one of those really good brands. So we partner with them to
Okay.
get some really good deals for ladies. In fact, there's a
Mhm.
sale. You guys didn't know. There's a sale. We've got 30% off Don Renault, and
Don't
free,
tell me that.
yeah, and free shipping in the U.S. Not to the UK.
Okay.
We can
Yeah.
definitely do if you
Mhm.
need.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
they are great at Don Renault, and they really do
Mhm.
care about women. I've had instances, where I've had a wig that got here and there was something wrong with it. And I said, hey, you know what? This happened. I checked it out for sure. And she was like, don't worry about it. Just send it back. We'll get it taken care of for you. So
Yeah.
they're really great at standing by their customers.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. I think customer service is definitely important to me as well, for sure, especially because no matter how much money you're spending on a wig, it's your money that you've worked hard for. And that's why I have Scottish blood and I do not like wasting money. So if there is an issue, then it's great to be assured that it's going to be taken care of and you're not going to be questioned for if they've made a mistake, because every manufacturer does make mistakes sometimes. And
sure.
yeah, and for something like John Renault or Ellen Villa or that kind of caliber of wig makers, they are a luxury item,
Yeah,
an affordable luxury item, I'd say, but it's such good quality, and they want that quality to speak for itself, don't they? They don't want to
right,
put out anything that's not up to standard.
right. Absolutely. And it's so I think that, those brands, they work really hard to ensure the quality of their items. And if they
Mhm.
they when they stand behind them and say, hey, yeah, we'll take it back, we'll make sure that it's good, we'll ship in out a new one. And they when they take care of their customers the way that they do with me, I
Mm,
I just tell our customer, I'm like, send it back, we'll get you a new one. Because it does happen, right?
yeah.
It
Hmm.
it's like anything, you can get a
Yeah.
rid, get this or that. So yeah.
Mm,
So
that's good
tell
to
me,
know.
I always like to ask like your top five favorite styles right now. Because I always like to know like what are your top five favorites. I'm getting ready. I'm working on a top 20 list for the
Okay.
site, and so I always like to ask ladies, what are your top, like even if you can't give me your top five, your top two favorite styles right now.
Okay, so I adore my Holly from John Renault. So
Oh,
I got her in the Catalina blonde color when I got back from Australia. And
yes.
I have recently just bought, let me show you, this is just beautiful. I just received this the other day. I say received, it came in the post because I bought it. This is from Ellen Villa and it's called Leah Mono. It's
Mhm.
another little bob. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
I am.
Yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous and she's stuck in the black bag as they usually do, aren't they? But it's that really sharp bob.
Edge, yeah.
And it's just, yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
Uh,
Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. So soft. And this, I chose to wear this today. This is Tosca from Ellen Villa. Again, I just really love her styles.
yeah.
Really, it seems like all I wear is bobs, but it's not. I do also, let me show you. I went to my nephew's wedding at the weekend and I
Uh,
wore this one for the introduction to the family that I haven't seen for 20 years.
wow.
And this is a Chelsea Smith Crowns
Okay.
crown. And this is called, oh my goodness. Oh, Zoe, Summer Zoe. And it's an apricot color and it's just really fun,
Yeah.
lovely. Um, it's a more of a fashion wig. And what else? A one that I actually bought from Beverly, and it's called Westwood from Beltress.
Very familiar.
And the reason I was attracted to that is because I have odd reasons for buying wigs sometimes, but I grew up in a little part of town called Westwood.
Uh,
And when I saw the name Westwood, and I was like, oh, I like that. And then I love the color, so I love that
yeah.
wig as well. I really do like Beltress wigs. I think I've never really had a bad one on my head. I've only got eight, but they're very special. And yeah, so Westwood is that I love the sort of water waves and the sort of just playful fun, not a sharp bob,
Yeah.
but
Well,
mostly a bob.
yeah.
So I'd say
I,
that's my top five.
I think I gravitate towards the bobs a lot too.
Mm.
Um, I've got a beautiful Henny Margot bob. Um, I've got a Tressler bob that I love. Um, an undercut. It's called Euro Chic.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course a couple of Hudson from Beltras has always been one of my favorite bobs.
Yes, very nice, very nice.
Um,
I also just bought a Ignite by John Renault, the real
mm,
short.
mhm.
Yeah. And oh my goodness, it's so cool. It's really fun.
It is one of those
That's
styles, right? Particularly in the summer when it's super hot.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Leah.
Uh-huh.
So good in the hot weather because it's just not on your neck at all.
Yeah.
It's great. But one thing I've said to a lot of people is people, oh, how do you cope wearing a wig in the heat? I'm like, for me, it's a blessing. I actually prefer it because before I would wear a wig, I would just have to wear a hat, or because my scalp would burn. Or um,
Hmm.
you step outside, you get ready to go out on a night out when you're on holiday, you spend an hour doing your hair and step outside into the humidity
Right.
and then it's just disappeared and it's just horrible mess. So now I just put the hair on and I personally don't find them hot because I don't know, I guess I've just always been used to disguising my hair anyway. So I just find it it's a lot easier. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, I can't wait to get it off when you go back home and throw it off, it's shoes off, bra off, hair off.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh yeah. There's like days where I'm just like, okay, I just want to get the hair off. And then but it's like, you definitely like there's days where you're like, okay, I've been wearing this all day long, so you just want to, it's like,
Yeah.
you want to just get it off. But there's There are those wigs, Holly is one of them, where I can actually fall asleep in it and I didn't even know I had it on.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yesterday was the day of the whole day wedding, and I wore Dalgona from Beltress all day. And honestly, when I got back to the hotel, I almost forgot that I was wearing it, and that had been all day long. And yeah, no, and it was a hot day,
yeah,
so and it was so comfortable. It was brilliant.
it's just, when you get a good, comfortable wig, I think it's like shoes, right? You get a good,
Yeah,
comfortable pair of shoes, you don't notice
yeah,
that you're wearing them.
yeah.
Beverly, I just had to tell you this. So she says, Beverly said, you look fantastic in your Holly in Catalina Blonde.
Thank you, Beverly.
And she said she's strange. She prefers the Long City collection when it's hot. So the open lift is
Ah.
here for her. Yeah.
I don't have any of those yet. In the City
Oh,
collection, all I've got is Dubai, and I bought that because the color was Sienna Spice, and I have a granddaughter called Sienna, so I had to have it really.
oh my God. Love that.
Yeah.
We'll have to get you a couple of cities. So
Ah,
try.
yeah.
Um, well, are there any questions for Barbara before we wrap up? Barbara, thank you so much for being with
Oh, you're
us.
very welcome. It's been great fun. I honestly, I could talk about wigs till the cows come home, as they say. But and there's not many people in my life who share my passion, so thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So glad that you came on to chat with the ladies. So Mary just said, thank you, Barbara. Um, oh, you would have it if you bought my wig that you want. Oh, Beverly, can you explain?
Oh, I think I know. I did I ask you about it the other day, Beverly? I can't remember. She's always can't
So
remember which one it's
which
called.
are you asking about?
I can't remember now. I can picture it, but I can't remember the name.
Beverly, which one was it? Do you remember? Well, we'll find out. I know it's
Okay.
Madrid. She said Madrid.
Oh.
Yeah, Madrid is a good.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just want I'll have them all. I'll have them all. Yeah. I'll I don't know. I was talking to my children, like I have four sons, but so obviously I have some daughters-in-law now, but you think about the things that are really important to you that you want to pass on to people.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants my wigs.
See, and that is so strange because I'm like, I told my husband the other day, I said, where are all my wigs gonna go? Like, who's gonna get my wigs?
Hmm,
And I was like, maybe I can donate them
that's a
and
good call.
end up doing.
I think
So,
my two granddaughters might have something to say about it. They love coming up here and dressing up, and it's good fun. And I'm pretty sure the boys probably do when I'm not in the house. I don't
yeah.
know.
Ah!
You never know.
That's
But
awesome.
I'm very lucky, and I hope everybody else is the same. I've got a very supportive family who, there was a few raised eyebrows at first with some of the mad choices that I made, but now they just, nobody bats an eye. Not even, I have a very young, like baby grandson, and I know he gives a sort of second look sometimes when I walk in, but he always recognizes me anyway. So
Oh,
yeah,
that
just
is so,
passing the word on to the next generation.
yeah. And I think that that's really great that we can do that. Like, we are setting that example for the next generation that says, hey, this is
Yeah,
acceptable,
yeah,
right? And
definitely.
if you think about women from other cultures, how wearing wigs is so normally accepted and no one
Yeah,
blinks an eye, you
yeah,
know,
exactly. Yeah.
it's just part of who they are and their lifestyle. So,
Hmm.
I think for women that are, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is, this makes me happy. it is what has kind of driven my confidence. And so I'm like, you
Mm.
do you, I'll do
Yeah.
me. We'll all be great.
Definitely, definitely. No, it's great, and I think the word is spreading for sure, and it's becoming more mainstream. And I just love so many women say to me, like on the quiet, I really love what you're doing, and I'd really love to come and see your wigs. I'm like, shout it out then.
Yeah,
Don't whisper. Yeah.
absolutely. Well,
But
Barbara,
I know also at the beginning it's very personal. It is such a
yeah,
personal thing. So everybody's got to have their same starting point, and then you get to where you need to be
yeah,
further down the line. Yeah.
100%. Well, is there any
Cool.
final thoughts that you'd like to share with the ladies before we wrap up?
I guess just that, gosh, I don't really know what I haven't already said, but it is a very personal journey, and I hate that term sometimes. It's a bit overused, but we all come to it for a different reason. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of support out there, and if you can find the right people to surround yourselves with and get the right advice from somebody like yourself who knows what you're talking about, and try and cut out the white noise all around sales, then I think it will make things a lot easier for anybody who's thinking about wearing wigs. And just do your research.
Yeah, absolutely. Great
Yeah,
advice.
thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you again for coming and joining us and telling the ladies your story. I so appreciate it.
Oh,
And
thank you.
just to wrap up, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. Don't forget to join us next weekend where we'll have another special guest telling us about her hair loss journey. So,
Lovely. Thank you.
Barbara,
Thank you
thank you.
very much for having me, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Yes, you will.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a
Take
great
care.
your Sunday.
Yes, I'm off to bed now. It's 10 o'clock. Bye.
Again, Barbara.
Bye.
Bye.